In Parliament today, our owlish opinion is about navigating the dreaded M word.
Men?
Oh, pause.
Menopause.
Yes, our mothers and grandmothers called it change of life, and it's one of the most uncomfortable periods in our lives. Hot flushes, moods, weight gain. 75% of women experience hot flushes. Then there's memory loss, lack of concentration, vaginal dryness, depression, and a whole lot more. Blood tests are done to check our hormones, thyroid tests, liver, kidney. Dude, you have to meditate and breathe through all of these tests and preferably not see people. Some people use natural, some opt for hormone therapy and just lifestyle adjustments. So the Greeks term this as men, and not the way men you thinking, because in Greek terms, men is month. And pause is seas or pause. So literally, it is really the end of your monthly cycle, like a moon cycle.
Oh, that's why it stopped.
Yes.
Oh.
And I always thought it had to do with men. And then an interesting fact is the Victorian era, the physicians believed that there was a link from the womb and the brain, so making women susceptible to insanity. So they believe the logical treatment was to lock women in asylum.
No ways.
Absolutely. Only later on in the century, menopause was related to hormones. Can you believe that? Towards the end of the 1800s.
Crazy.
What has not changed is that we do suffer with such bad symptoms that are insane and sometimes make us sound insane. We have been misled about menopause. My mom did not tell me enough about menopause. It is because we don't know all the symptoms of menopause, and it's just not about hot flushes.
Definitely not. So let me tell you a bit about my experience. Can I do that? Start there. So I always ask my mom about menopause. And Mom, how is it? What to expect? And my mother, bless her heart, has never really experienced major menopausal symptoms. She could never really tell me how she felt.
She never experienced it, or she never remembered it?
She never could identify them. It wasn't that clear to her what it was. And then I got to my probably about 48 or so, and I must tell you, I have never really had sweaty nights or anything like that.
I don't like women like you.
I know.
There's a lot of you that say, I don't know, I've just breathed through menopause.
No, to be honest with you, so I listened to you and all of this, but now that you're naming them, there's certain things I can identify with. So around 48 or so, I suddenly, over maybe a couple of months, slowly but surely just noticed that the period was just disappearing. That was the first indication.
So that's what they call perimenopause.
Yeah. And then what I have noticed over time is that my hair's thinner. I am a little bit more forgetful. Cara always says glammy, because I call my glasses my glammy glasses. And I would have them on my head, and she would say, you're looking for your glasses, but they're sitting on your head. Or I'm looking for the car keys, but they're in your hand, that kind of thing. So I cannot tell you that I have had specific, I couldn't sleep because it was just night sweats and that kind of thing. But I also have started sleeping less, for instance. My hair is thinner, as I said.
You're a night owl. Well, bloody hell. I knew that there was something called menopause. I used to only remember my mom and dad sleeping in two separate rooms. My dad would I don't know, your mom is feeling hot and it's winter and he's too cold. So that was the only, literally, I remembered that part of it. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that was probably because my mom was going through, her hot flushes in the night. Well, let me explain to you about my stages. Stage 1, I had the one leg out. Stage 2, I had 2 legs out. Stage 3, I had no blankets. And then stage 4, I had a fan on all day, all night, winter, spring, summer. I know you look horrified, but it actually was as horrified it was. I had forgetfulness. I forgot my keys. Why did I go back into the room? The interrupted sleep, of course, hot flushes, my emotions. I think the team at the office was probably very scared. Brain fog. I mean, sometimes it was what do you call it? Your verbal memory. You have a lack of verbal memory, forgetfulness. I felt I was crazy. I really felt I was crazy. And when I went and did my hormone test, my blood test for my hormones, I remember Dr. Bird saying to me, I don't know how you're sitting here. And I looked at him and I said, what? And he says, your hormones have been depleted, which means I have ignored all the signs in the past 2 years, my perimenopausal, got to a point where my hormones were depleted. When he said that, and then he asked me stuff like, do you have vaginal dryness? And I was like, well, I don't have time to think about that. Then he asked me things about, how's your libido? I'm like, Dr. Bird, I don't know. I just can't sleep. And then, so that was like, I had really crazy hormones. I must say, I can tell you when I started to feel normal again. I don't know where. You said you never felt it, so you're kind of probably feeling normal now.
So I'm not saying I never felt anything. I'm saying it was never as overwhelming as people explain it to be. So I've seen all the different things. I've experienced all the different things, but it was never so much that it affected my life adversely.
Well, I feel a little bit normal again because I went through an HRT process. And I was told that the transition to menopause could be between 10 months to 10 years. And I don't have 10 years.
So maybe it's still coming for me.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Probably that.
Probably still.
I can, of course, I can guide you through what you should be doing.
You should.
I think I'm more angrier now about my fat storing than hot flashes. That is what, because it's this horrible thing about experiencing weight gain. And I don't know. And I always think about, how do you manage menopause gracefully? This is what I was doing. I used to have full disclosure wherever I was. I sounded like a PSA, like a public service announcement, just to keep my sense of humor. I think for 6 months, I told people,
I'm going through a hot flash right now.
Yes. And I think it was really, because I didn't want to feel like I've passed my sell-by date. So I thought that if I made fun of myself around people, I would feel better about myself.
I would probably do the same though. And maybe I have. Again, I can definitely identify with some of the things that you're saying. And I probably would also make, I'm getting old kind of comments, things like that. It's just that it's never been to the extent where I'm feeling, oh my gosh, what the hell is going on? Can I say what the hell is going on?
Yes. And I think it's a conversation that women have never had with each other about menopause. I think now we are able to open up to each other. When we see each other, it's like, hey, I'm going through this. What about you? And if you say you are, or some other, friends of mine said, I'm also going through that. And I would like, well, you need to go and do this and you need to go. So it's really always trying to help other people go, experience that. So navigating my life through menopause has been hellish or owlish, let me say.
Owlish.
But I know that you need help. I know that not everybody goes through the same thing. Lifestyle choices, of course, are extremely important. But for me, it's sharing your knowledge, sharing what you learned, sharing information that you come across. Because I think if we don't do that, women that are going to experience it have to go through that. Why should
lonely?
You? Yeah, why should you go through that all over again? So now when I do talk to my sisters about it, they would like, I got a long way to go. And I'm like, hell no. There's a thing called perimenopause, which is before. And I never experienced that. So
now you see.
But probably I ignored it.
So I forgot what I was
going to say. Well, so you see, you were telling me that I'm sorry. There you go. That's
what was I going to say? There was something I was going to... I forgot.
Well, I also I also have verbal...
I see your point.
Now you see my point. And I think...
I'll remember.
And I think I think that sharing our stories on menopause is a big thing. Apparently, when we go through menopause, it changes your voice. So I am still waiting for my voice over voice. The ratios, apparently the ratios in your voice change because you have lower estrogen and higher testosterone. So your voice...
So does it go lower?
Yes. So basically...
Husky.
Yes. But then also you also get chin hairs. Have you realized?
I do have one.
There you go.
I shave it. No, I promise you, look.
Yes.
It's only the one, though.
Because it's the testosterone.
But I don't pluck it. I shave it with a razor.
Okay, my mom still, puts it up there. But again, that's the thinning of your hair. So we do have receding hairlines. We do have chin hairs. I don't have a chin hair yet.
Mine is starting.
Or maybe I do and I just, wax it off, whatever happens. But I'm still waiting for my deep, husky voice.
So in our old age, we can actually do voiceovers.
Absolutely.
It's an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, that's a nice retirement thing that we might look at. Yeah.
I love that for me.
So we've both experienced menopause differently. Fortunately, with no partner, because I think we might have killed them. Apparently, with menopause, it leads to a lack of intimacy, sexual intercourse, makes couples distant from each other. I remember like I said, my parents and grandparents sleeping in separate rooms, so they weren't getting their action on clearly. So I guess the most important, what I'm trying to say is that partners should communicate because I think you want to be supportive.
So while you go through menopause, it's probably better to be single for now. And then, once you're over it, then nobody's ever going to know you in that bad mode or phase of your life.
I think so. I heard someone say this. Have you noticed that every ailment starts with men? Menstruation, menopause, mental illness.
Let's not be so hard on them. I really like them, you know that.
But Lynn, the upside of menopause, this is how I feel. No more period. No more PMS.
No, it's amazing.
No more PMS. We are now grown-ass women. We are unapologetically. We're more experienced. And I think we are kinder to ourselves.
You know what? Before we go into the kinder part, I just remembered something. When you still had your period, why was it that whenever you had to go away on a romantic weekend away or something like, period will arrive? On that weekend.
Well, it's the moon.
On that night away.
The goddess of the moon is not wanting you to have any.
It was just always so unwelcome.
Are we kinder to ourselves now that we are post-menopause or into our menopause?
I'm kinder to myself. I like myself more. I enjoy myself. I enjoy my own company more. I love being alone. I love just, doing things with Lynn. Lynn is okay with Lynn.
Yeah, I felt that when I was told that I am full-blown menopause to what I am now, I was horrified. I was depressed. I was sad. I felt this was the end of my life. Nothing is going to happen. Nobody's going to want me. Nobody's going to care about me. Now, I feel so empowered. I'm sleeping better. I am happy. I'm kinder. And so I think, again, when we navigate our life through menopause, reach out to people, read about it. It will change your life.
And sharing, the one thing that you say, sharing, I think, if I look at myself and you and a few of the other very close friends I have, because I don't have that many, we talk about all of these things we experience so much. And that really helps. You don't feel isolated. You don't feel alone. I'm just thinking back to what you mentioned in terms of emotions. And as much as I said that I haven't really experienced a lot, I really do think that I have become more emotional, sometimes to the point of being hysterical. And people were like, what's wrong with you? Why are you reacting or overreacting the way you are? So even having this discussion now makes me realize that I definitely am or have experienced menopause, but not always completely aware of it. So this hysteria, emotional outburst stuff, it's very real.
I think I have called you out on that a couple of times. Lynn, calm down. And I've seen it over the years as well. It's like literally calling you out because I can see that you're hysterical about something. And it's like the one thing about you is like you start raveling your hair. And it's like, no, you start raveling your hair. And I'm like, Lynn, can you calm down?
Can you just stop?
That is hysteria.
So that is basically what I'm talking about. And I've never realized until you actually started going through all the different things. And now I realize that I really do that. Yeah. My kids probably have called me out on that.
Yeah, I know. I think my colleagues in the office have called me out on that. They look at me and they say, there is this mad woman that has arrived. And I think I've accepted the crazy woman in the office. But I think that they have, blessed them, they have made me feel it's okay to talk about it. And also understand that managing my hysteria, probably because they knew I was going through it, understood me better. I think if you do talk about it, people will understand your hysteria.
Absolutely.
And what is this hysteria? Is it to do with the moon cycle? Is it to do with the fact that the moon is fighting with our body? They say we made up of 90% of the water. The moon is made out of water. I don't know. I don't know. Is the moon fighting with us that we have given up on our bodies? So Hippocrates coined the term hysteria. So it seems as though only that women could be hysterical because they had a womb.
And men were never hysterical, or they couldn't be. They were just rational.
Have you seen men hysterical? Yes, they are. They drive people in. They drive into cars.
I mean, I've seen that. But
they beat women up as well.
But interesting, that stigma has stayed. And even up to today, men still, or women are still being seen as hysterical beings, emotional beings, overly emotional beings, whereas men are still being seen as these rational, together people.
I think
we know it's not true.
Listen, I think we are together. It's just that our body parts in there are kind of fighting with the moon. Clearly.
Women
that is
are
what I'm thinking.
People.
Okay, I am going to speak to the moon tonight. And I'm going to speak to her.
But I'll tell you something. I am controlled by the moon. I'm such a moon child.
No, I am. But
not my womb.
Well, clearly the womb is being controlled by the goddess.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have a chat to the moon tonight and just make it easier for all women. Have you ever wondered if men go through menopause? Because there are hormones that are part of, they also have estrogen, don't they?
Do they? How much?
Well, when men lose their testosterone, they also become hysterical.
Have you seen it, Katie?
I have.
Do you have proof, Katie?
I don't have video proof, but I can say
but you've experienced it. You've seen it. Yeah?
I've experienced it.
Me too. They can come first. They get hysterical. They really do.
Thank you for tuning into Outspoken Owls. We trust that you will come along this journey with us and enjoy our perspective, because life is a hoot.